Montreal fans as of late. Their team has won 5 of the last 6 and are hoping that momentum carries into today. On the flip side, the Blue Bombers looking to do something that hasn't been done and become the first crossover team to reach the Grey Cup. George Pond of Spruce Grove, Alberta. This is your chance to win big thanks to Save on Foods' $1 million touchdown win. If the kickoff is returned for a touchdown, you could win groceries for a year. If 2 kickoffs are returned for touchdowns, you could win $1 million. It's Dustin Nielsen and Dwayne Ford.
Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada.
CFL playoffs set to kick off at Percival Molson Stadium in Montreal, and what a matchup we have on our hands to get things going. A rematch of the 2023 Grey Cup, the 10-0 Bombers taking on the 10-8 Bombers taking on the 10-8 Alouettes. You've got a young stud quarterback on one side and a veteran who's done it all on the other.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic matchup here when you look at these two quarterbacks. Zach Collaros, obviously two-time MVP, two-time Grey Cup champion, looking to get his team to a 6th consecutive Grey Cup. Of course, Davis Alexander, 11-0 as a starter in the CFL, but has never started in the playoffs, has never faced the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Jason Moss, 6-4 postseason record, won that Grey Cup in 2023. His team had won 5 in a row before sitting a few bodies last week. Mike O'Shea, 5 straight trips to the Grey Cup, but a crossover here in 2025. Winnipeg looking to forge a path through the East and get back to a Grey Cup at home. Montreal will look to advance to Hamilton next week, and we are underway. And this will be taken by Letcher just inside the 15. Back to the 30, and that is where he is taken down by Cadwallader. And our first look at Davis Alexander, 11-0 over the last 2 years in the regular season.
Yeah, and there you see the 7-0 record this season. Terrific numbers. I think if Davis Alexander had played the entire season, this is the guy we would be talking about in the MOP conversation this year. Obviously a season limited by injuries. This is a different Alouettes team with him than without him.
3-0 since returning from injury. Averaging over 300 yards passing in those 3 games. Starts here on his own 30. He'll start it on the ground with the big running back, Stevie Scott. Let's take a look at Montreal's starting offense here.
Yeah, and along that offensive line, at right tackle, his first-round pick, Tiger Shanks. In the starting lineup, he'll get to see Willie Jefferson and James Vaughters, veteran defensive ends, for the first time. So an interesting matchup to watch it. How about the breakout season for Tyler Sneed, the Alouettes' leading receiver this year? This guy even threw a touchdown pass the last time he faced Montreal.
All CFL in the East this year for Sneed. Almost 1,130 yards receiving. 2nd and 5. Quick hitter, far side, first down. They move it quickly. Get Philpott involved early on. Not a bad idea.
Yeah, just a quick hitter looking to get in rhythm a little bit. Here you see the protection. Getting hands on right away at the line of scrimmage. Occupy those defenders. Don't want to let Willie Jefferson get upfield in a situation like that where he can impact that pass down the line.
Philpott led the team with 5 receiving touchdowns this season. Alexander looks to his right, pump fake now. Down the field, Rambo got it just inside the 30. A big bang for the Alouettes early as Alexander drops it in a bucket for Charleston Rambo.
Charleston Rambo is just on the go. He's at the bottom of your screen, lined up on the outside. Davis Alexander is just going to load it up. No sense easing into the ball game. Make an impact early. And this one is on the money. Hitting Charleston Rambo in stride for a big gain into Winnipeg Blue Bomber territory.
43 yards to Rambo.
We're going to reset the spot. It's going to be first down at the 27-yard line.
Working against Jamal Parker. They're going to change the spot. It'll be at the 27 here, so it'll be a 41-yard completion. And Davis Alexander not messing around here early. Bombers will look to halt this drive. Matt in and out of his hands. Incomplete. Let's take a look at the Winnipeg defense.
Well, this group led by veteran Willie Jefferson, only 3 sacks this season, but still impacting the passing game with a number of knockdowns this year. Tony Jones, his first full year as a starter in the middle, led the Bombers defense in total defensive plays. And terrific year for the veteran at this strong side halfback, Evan Holm. No doubt one of the Bombers' top defenders this season.
16 knockdowns for Willie Jefferson this year. 2nd and 10 for Alexander. And that one incomplete in the direction of Austin Mack. And 3rd and 10 will bring up a field goal attempt here for Jose Maltos Diaz, who hit 58 of them this year, just 2 shy of the CFL record.
And is Alexander communicating there with Austin Mack, just making sure they're on the same page after misfire there. So big play gets them down into Bomber territory, but that Bomber defense holds to force this field goal attempt.
Maltos Diaz, 89.2% on the year. Looking to get Montreal on the board first here at home in the East semifinal. That is up, and it is good. Alouettes with an early 3-0 lead over Zach Collaros and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Can Collaros find a way to push the Bombers to a 6th consecutive Grey Cup? Well, Zach Collaros, 13 starts this season, 6 wins, 7 losses. Here's a look at what he did do in the games that he played.
And Zach Collaros still has that big play potential. They'll be trying to get it done without Nick Dembski in the lineup here tonight. The cast around him may change. Zach continuing to play at a high level. You know, the big thing you look at statistically that has kind of shifted in recent years is that touchdown to interception ratio. Close to even this year. They'll need to avoid the turnovers today.
At 17-16 this year. They will get it out to Wheatfall to start the game. Let's take a look at this Winnipeg starting offense.
And number of veterans along that offensive line, but the anchor, no question, is the left tackle, Stanley Bryant, perennial all-star at that position. I mentioned Nick Dembski out of the lineup. He had been a game-time decision with that nagging hamstring injury. Look for Ontario Wilson to pick up the slack, particularly when they try to go over the top.
Just 2 yards on that first play from scrimmage for the visitors. 2nd inning here for Zach. Montreal sends 5. Collaros hangs in there, gets it away. Bobbled. Wilson hangs on to it, but he'll be marked a couple of yards short of a first down because of the bobble on the way back to wrap up that football. And it'll be a 3rd down and a punting situation.
Yeah, you'll see the spot here will be interesting, as Wilson was struggling to gain control and working back towards the line of scrimmage as that was happening. Terrific concentration to hang on to it. But ultimately, where he finally secured the football is going to leave them a couple yards short.
Jamison Sheen called into work. 47.8% on the year.
And 2 returners deep here for the Alouettes, Dustin.
We got Letcher back there. And they will kick it in the direction of Letcher. Made the first man miss. 2nd and 3rd, though, will wrap him up. 52-yard kick. Davis Alexander has a 3-0 lead. Perfect in the regular season. Trying to find a way to a playoff victory as well. Well, I certainly don't want to simplify it too much, but when Davis Alexander plays, Montreal wins.
Yeah, that has certainly been the story over the course of the last 2 seasons for the Montreal Alouettes. Super sub last year, playing in place of an injured Cody Fajardo and taking over the starting reins himself this season. 7-0 for Alexander as a starter here in 2025.
Having to deal with hamstring injury throughout the season. Quick hit, far side, back in the hands of Philpott. And here's a look at that great start for Davis Alexander, the best we've seen.
Yeah, 11-0 overall, again, through 24 and 25. His first 11 starts, he has yet to lose a game. But as we mentioned off the top, this is Davis Alexander's first career postseason start in the Canadian Football League and his first start against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
He'll watch Shea Patterson into the game on the second and short. And he's got the first down and a little bit more. Takes it out towards the 40. Here is Davis Alexander talking about his perfect start to his CFL career.
The honest part of that is it doesn't matter, because who cares how good you are in the regular season? The only thing that matters is the playoffs. You know, as long as you get in, you find a way to get in. Now you got to perform, right? I mean, nobody's going to remember the guy who's the regular season masterclass guy. You got to be that guy in the playoffs. You got to be a killer, and you got to go find a way to win, no matter what it takes.
So nothing against the perfect regular season start, but he wants one in the playoffs. Tough road ahead of him here with the Bombers in town. They'll hand it off to Scott, and that is wrapped up. Vauders, among others, in on the tackle for the Bombers.
Well, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, of course, winners of the West Division playoffs 5 consecutive seasons, but now trying to become the East Division representatives in the Grey Cup.
That first run, they were third in the West, so they have managed to work their way through a couple of foes along the way, but they have not played many playoff games on the road over this stretch. 2nd and 5 for Alexander. Back to Philpott. And he's close to a first down. His spot looks like it will be enough, but it's close. Philpott already targeted 3 times in this game.
And we're seeing the Alouettes offensively. I mean, first of all, this is a group that doesn't necessarily kill you with one receiver, but on any given day, it could be any of that quintet that becomes the go-to guy. But mixing it up here a little bit, obviously, in terms of those quick hitters. And then we saw that shot over the top, second play out of the gate to Charleston Rambo.
Midway through the opening quarter, Alexander, pressure coming from behind, gets it away, throws it away in the direction of Speaker, but he felt that heat.
Well, and Alexander being pursued from the backside. He's going to be moving to his right. You'll see that pressure coming off the left side. Steps up, maybe an opportunity there to run, but a little flick in the direction of Cole Speaker along the sidelines there that may actually have been a throwaway as much as anything.
Tony Jones, monster year in the middle of that Winnipeg defense, 102 tackles. He had the pressure that time. Alexander looking to throw again. Has a ton of time in the pocket here. Now he's going to look down the field. Incomplete, but a flag on the play. The crowd erupts here in Montreal. Dexter Lawson Jr. working against Tyler Sneed. And a penalty flag lays on the field.
Defensive pass interference. Winnipeg, number 22. It's going to be first down for Montreal at the spot de foul. Interférence contre la défensive. Winnipeg numéro 22. Ça va être premier essai Montréal au point d'infraction.
And keep an eye here. The spotlighted receiver. Tyler Sneed working all the way across the field. Long way to go for Lawson. Sees that ball on the way and kind of pulls himself even. Looked like he hooked the arm there a little bit.
Matt, couple of blockers, takes it down inside the 15, close to the 10. They'll mark it out at the 11, and it's a Montreal first down.
Nice adjustment here by Austin Mack after the catches. Typically any of these perimeter screens, your hitches, etc., you're trying to bounce it back inside, but he recognizes that the defenders have jumped to the inside to cut off that lane, just gets what he can along that sideline.
Alouettes just under 56% inside the red zone this season. 3 options out to the left. They'll hand it off up the middle. Scott taking it down. Breaks a tackle. Does he get to the end zone? A long discussion from the officials.
It looks like he had enough for the first down, but not the touchdown. Good hard run right up the gut from Stevie Scott, who's taken over this running back position down the stretch for the Alouettes. And there you see he's on the defender who's on the ground there. Looks like his arm touches before he's able to reach across the line.
Great effort, though. Now Patterson into the game, trying to find a path to the end zone here. Pushing it ahead. First crack at it denied by the Bombers defense. They'll line it up and do it again.
Oh, big stand defensively there on first down. You'll get a great look here. Like Shane Gauthier among those coming over the top to stop the forward momentum of Shea Patterson.
Tenth play of the drive for the Montreal Alouettes. Second and goal from the Winnipeg 1. They'll give it to Philpott. Philpott, touchdown, end zone. Tyson Philpott strikes again. Alouettes on top, 9-0.
Nothing wrong with a little creativity in these short yardage situations, particularly when you've got 3 downs to play with. Philpott coming right to left across your screen. Everybody's worrying about defending between the tackles, leaving the defense a little soft out on the edge. And Tyson Philpott finds his way in for the first touchdown of the game.
Baltos Diaz for an early 10-point lead, and they've got it here at home, do the Alouettes. It's a 10-play, 89-yard drive that took just under 6 minutes, and it's finished in the hands of Philpott.
The Montreal Alouettes, the first major of this ball game. 10 plays, 89 yards. The biggest chunk of that coming on a penalty, a pass interference call against Dexter Lawson Jr. working against Tyler Sneed. And the Alouettes receivers getting involved. Austin Mack first. Stevie Scott out of the backfield, pounds it down in close. Tyson Philpott finishes the job, taking it around the edge for the first touchdown of the game.
Powell takes it just inside the 15, and he is upended. Beauchemin. Great special teams tackle there. 10-0. Home side leads. Willie Jefferson and the Bombers on the road in the playoffs as an underdog. For more on this, let's send it down to Matt Shinetti.
Feels so unique, doesn't it, Dusty? And I was talking to our stats guru, John Perlberg, last night as I was trying to formulate what this could mean for the Bombers, and he brought up, Perlberg did, the eternal philosophy of Gotham City prosecutor Harvey Dent from the Dark Knight film. Well, if you do live long enough, you could see yourself as the villain. And when you look at the Bombers and Willie Jefferson and their mentality, well, this week, Willie Jefferson said, yeah, you've got to be the villain. You've got to go into someone's house, kick down their door, and take everything off their table. And, well, Jefferson very expecting any Cape Crusaders in Montreal because the guys on the other side are just as happy being the bad guy. We know Isaac Adeyemi Berglund is one of them. When we asked him this week whether the Bombers have an aura or a mystique, Berglund just smirked and said, here in Montreal on the inside, the Bombers have no mystique. Dustin.
There's a bubble snap and flags fly as that ball took off over the head of Zach Collaros.
Procedure, Winnipeg number 66, 5-yard penalty, will replay first down. Procédure inadmissible, Winnipeg 66, penalty de Saint-Vert, on répète le premier.
So it'll be a 1st and 15 for the Bombers, down 10. Working from their own 24. 3 options out to the left for Collaros. A little bit of a draw to Brady Oliveira. Gets the 5 yards back. And maybe a little bit more. Let's take a look at the Montreal starting defense.
And on that defensive line, Corey Roberson Jr. will get the start at defensive tackle after an injury to Mustafa Johnson. The release yesterday of Sean Oakman. So the rookie makes the start. Darnell Sankey, the man in the middle, leads the way in terms of total defensive plays for the Montreal defense. Deontay Ruffin will start at field halfback for Montreal. Filled in last week at boundary corner in the season finale. That's where we have seen most of his action in recent years, but he's in it. Field half for Deontay Evans here today.
2nd and 9 for Collaros. Pressure coming. Gets it away. Almost intercepted. Lorenzo Burns had a line on that one. He bats it away. 3rd and 9 for Winnipeg.
And in typical Alouette fashion, moving people around, bringing pressure. You see number 24 coming off the edge. It's Marc-Antoine Dequoy. Getting involved in the blitz package. He had a sack last week against the Bombers in the regular season finale. Had an interception in that game as well. No surprise, you see him impact the game in so many different ways.
Jamison Sheen, low driving kick. Ledger's going to watch it bounce. And it's out of bounds just inside the 30. And there's the villain in the house today. Willie Jefferson back onto the field. And Davis Alexander carries some swag of his own. And here's what he had to say in a little bit of a rebuttal. Bring Willie over. Bring Winnipeg over. What does he say? Come on down to Winnipeg? Well, come on down to Montreal.
Well, Davis Willie has come on down to Montreal for this Eastern semifinal. May the best team win.
Davis Alexander has started the game 5 of 8 for 73 yards. Just 8 yards passing on the other side for Collaros as Winnipeg's offense not able to stay on the field just yet. Hand it off to Scott. It's about 5 on that 1st down carry. It's been a heck of a season for Willie Jefferson. 16 knockdowns this year brings that total to 94.
Yeah, and Willie is a guy, obviously, at this stage of his career, gets so much attention in terms of blocking schemes, etc. Gets tough to get to the quarterback, but still finding ways to impact the passing game with all those knockdowns. You notice everybody else on that list was defensive backs. Breaking up plays, balls thrown in their direction, but Willie batting them down at the line.
That one just got around his arms, into the hands, the waiting arms of Rambo, breaks one tackle, still going. Stiff arm for good measure, takes it down to the Winnipeg 45, 30 yards.
And here you'll see Jefferson coming off the edge, sees that ball go, looking for the knockdown, but Alexander able to get it around him. Right side of your screen here. Out to the edge, nice little duck inside by Charleston Rambo, and then getting it north-south. A nice pickup again into Winnipeg Blue Bomber territory.
71 yards receiving already in this game for Rambo. His high on the season was just 77. Alexander with time again. Down the field, end zone shot. Philpott's got another one. Alexander, the great strikes. He finds Philpott, touchdown Alouettes.
The Montreal Alouettes wasting absolutely no time getting into playoff mode here. Davis Alexander, first career playoff start. I think we can establish that the stage is not too big. Big strike, nice leaping catch there by Tyson Philpott for his second touchdown of the game.
And a stunning 17-point lead in the first quarter for the Montreal Alouettes. What a start to this ball game. Davis Alexander, 148 yards. And that passing touchdown to Philpott.
In route by the slot on that side. Austin Mack occupies the halfback. He can't get deep to help underneath. Philpott then works towards the post. Full extension to go up and bring that one down. Just in front of DeMario Houston.
So far in this game, the net yards offensively, Montreal 183, Winnipeg 14. It has been all Alouettes.
I'll tell you, part of the challenge here for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers is you got to believe that their game plan includes a ton of Brady Oliveira. We'll talk more about that in a moment.
And it's Babel. He can change the game, not this time. They'll wrap him up just beyond the 40 with 27 seconds remaining in the opening quarter.
For sure.
From a Winnipeg point of view, I mean, Brady Oliveira, the league's reigning most outstanding player a year ago. Obviously a central figure in their offense. This is a guy didn't play in the regular season finale against Montreal, but when they met in August, 210 yards on 25 touches for Oliveira. You've got a Montreal team that has been ravaged a little bit in terms of their interior defensive line. No Johnson, no Oakman.
Goes into the hands of Brady.
Yeah, and it would seem obvious you would want to get the ball into Brady Oliveira's hands. It becomes tougher to do that as time goes on if this gap gets any wider. They cannot afford to fall any further behind in this ball game because it impacts how much they can use their best weapon.
So still a lot of time, but you got to keep it close if you're going to continue to run with Brady.
You've got to close the gap. There you see the injured Nick Dembski, as mentioned, a game-time decision today. We saw him warming up early, but unable to go. Big hit to the Bombers' offense.
It's 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns on the sideline watching. Polaris down the field, drops it in just inside the 40. And that is Carrick Wheatfall who's got it. And that is the first down of the game for Winnipeg. A sign of life late in the opening quarter, down 17-0. Second quarter action coming up. Alouettes leading 17-0. Winnipeg just one first down. Came right at the end of the quarter. And maybe a sign of life here. A long way to go in this game, but a dominant first quarter for Montreal.
Yeah, Montreal certainly looking to send a message here against a team that has been to the last 5 Grey Cups. The Alouettes, their position is that we already beat them in a Grey Cup. They're not necessarily intimidated by what Winnipeg has done at this time of year in the past, and that showed in the first quarter. Now it's up to the Bombers to answer the bell here on the road. 29-yard gain to Carrick Wheatfall on the last play of that first quarter, but a frightening thought that accounts for over half of Winnipeg's offense to this point in the game. There you see the shot to Wheatfall that has the Bombers in Alouette territory.
Back to Brady this time. Uguak all over him. Wraps him up. Takes him down. No gain.
Well, Uguak, the third-year man, hailing from Edmonton, played his college ball at TCU in Connecticut. Former first-round pick of these Alouettes. Another guy on that D-line who was a little banged up.
Yeah, game-time decision. They got him, though. Good to go. Makes the play there. Second and 10 for Collaros. 3 options up to that wide side left. Looks to his right, pump fake. Now he's going to send one towards the end zone himself. And out of bounds, trying to make a play on it, was Wilson. Sutton was there, and it's incomplete.
And you're going to see pressure. Only 3 guys at the line. Watch Sean Lemon back in the lineup today. Jeffrey Cantan-Arcud becomes the 4th linebacker joining in that pressure package. Wesley Sutton does a nice job getting out there. Keep Wilson from bringing that one in.
So 3rd and 10 means we'll get a look at Sergio Castillo. 85.7% on the year. This is from 44, pretty much straight away. And that is up, and it is just good. Sneaks it inside. Winnipeg on the board.
I wanna get drunk right now, now, now. I wanna get drunk right now, now, now. Everybody's showing up right now, now, now. Walked in a line 'em up right now, now, now. I wanna.
Sergio Castillo breaks the ice here for Winnipeg.
Yeah, critical for the Bombers to at least get points on the board from that drive, starting on away. That Alouette leads. They have it down to 2 possessions now.
We'll hand it off to Scott. Spins out the first tackle. Finds some more contact. And he's got a first down still going. How about that? That is one of the hardest 16, 17-yard runs you'll see.
Stevie Scott. You know, he looks kind of upright as he goes into contact on a couple of these, but still able to move that pile forward. Just driving, as mentioned, he's had the Alouettes' only 100-yard rushing game this season.
He's already up to 42 this afternoon. They'll give it back to him again. Found his way back to the line of scrimmage. Not much further. Here's a look at Stevie Scott from the regular season.
Yeah, there you see 101 touches for him. Usually started the season with Sean Thomas Erlington and Travis Tice taking most of the carries ahead of him. Tice went to the injured list. Sean Thomas Erlington banged up for a time, and Stevie Scott has grasped the opportunity. Looking impressive in the Owls run down the stretch.
25-year-old out of Indiana. Here's Alexander. Another completion, this time back into the hands of Rambo. And that will bring up 3rd down.
Yeah, and it looks like you're about 2.5 yards to go. Little kicking situation here for the Montreal Alouettes.
That last catch from Rambo puts him at 78 yards, which is higher than any game he had during the regular season. Zima
standing pretty much in midfield here. Vavel waiting back at his tip. Nemo dropped this in at the 12. High hop. Vavel reached up and got it. Secured it. Beverett down there with Hamlin on the tackle. Brady Oliveira, 4 consecutive 1,000-yard rushing seasons. He's got 28 yards on 3 touches so far this afternoon in the East semifinal. Well, Brady Oliveira has been a monster in the postseason, as you can see with those numbers. For more on him, let's send it back down to Matthew Chenet.
And I was here, Dustin, just at the end of August, and a similar situation played out when Nick Dembski left that game, and it was on Brady Oliveira's shoulders, and he carried the Winnipeg Blue Bombers to a win. He had nearly 140 yards in that game. It's maybe the reason why Isaac Adeyemi-Berglund said this week, we know that Brady Oliveira is going to be patient. He's going to find the holes. He is the water that leaks out if you don't go ahead and secure those holes. That kind of aggressiveness, and you're seeing it already, has kept Brady, at least to this point, tapped down, guys.
See how much they can continue to focus on getting the ball to Brady Oliveira, but he did have an absolutely monstrous game against Montreal earlier this year.
Yeah, he sure did. You see the numbers, 16 carries, $137. That kind of got things started, it felt like, for Brady Oliveira this season. He ended up with 400-yard rushing games in his last 8 games played. That was a little bit of the kickstarter. Had 73 yards through the air on 9 catches as well in that game.
Yeah, in that game he had 210 total yards on offense. Collaros is in trouble. Ball pops out. Bombers are on it, though. Adeyemi-Berglund got to Zach in a hurry that time.
Isaac Adeyemi-Berglund, number 91 from his defensive end spot. Back-to-back seasons as the most outstanding Canadian finalist from the East Division.
A loss of 10 yards. Letcher takes this smack dab at midfield. Sidesteps the first tackler. Trying to find the near sideline. Running out of room. Taken down. The above a loss of a couple on the return.
Another terrific season for Isaac Adeyemi-Berglund, originally the 3rd overall pick in 2020 to the Calgary Stampeders. Joined these Alouettes as a free agent last year. Terrific season for him. Looked like a little miscommunication perhaps from that Winnipeg offensive line. Adeyemi-Berglund that time left free off the edge. Straight through to Zach Collaros to cause that fumble.
Excellent field position for Montreal. 17-3 lead at home. Find Rambo again. And he's wrapped up by Parker and Tony Jones. 4th catch of the game for Charleston Rambo.
And you think about what we've seen to this point in the game from Montreal offensively, right? A lot of screens to the receivers down the line. You know, I mean, limited opportunity for Willie Jefferson to impact those. Getting his long limbs in the way, but as well it forces the defensive backs to come up and play those. And then you mix it up and throw it over their heads, which they've done for a few big chunk plays in this ballgame.
This time gets it away quickly. That's Sneed for the first time today. And another first down for the Montreal Alouettes. They continue to march on this Winnipeg D.
Tyler Sneed, Montreal's leading receiver this season. 84 catches, over 1,100 yards for the East Carolina product. Obviously not the biggest guy out there, but one of the fastest players on the field, runs great routes, and as you saw, absolutely fearless.
Now Sneed moving in behind his quarterback there, and the flag will fly.
Well,
Timeout, Montreal.
So they got the timeout in before. Tyler Sneed, monster year.
Yeah, you compare his total numbers for 2023 and 24 versus what he did here in 25, healthy for the entire season, and really leaned on as a go-to guy within this Montreal offense.
Was targeted almost 120 times this season, and that's with various different quarterbacks playing the position. They all like to get the ball to Tyler Sneed, especially this guy. They'll hand it off to Scott, and that is eaten up immediately. Kyrie Wilson on the tackle for the Bombers.
And here you get a look. Kyrie Wilson in the middle of that defense, right on the hash mark. D-line does a good job occupying the blockers, keeping Wilson free to step up into that gap and make a play.
Ended up being a tackle for a loss, so it's 2nd and 11. Alexander, a deep drop. Now goes over the middle, down the field, drops it into the 10, to the 5. They'll take him down. Another big one this time to Austin Mack, his 2nd catch of the game.
And when you talk about some of the bigger shots that the Alouettes have taken in this ball game, right out of the gate goes to Charleston Rambo. Big chunky yardage on a penalty going to Tyler Sneed. We saw a touchdown where he throws a bomb to Tyson Philpott. Now getting it down the field to Austin Mack. So many different ways the Alouettes can hurt you in the passing game, and they are using all of them in the first half here today.
Davis Alexander spreading it around. 200 yards already in this half. Now he's going to keep it and walk it in. Touchdown, Alouettes! Montreal and Alexander throw this thing wide open. Wow.
A pretty good fake here to Stevie Scott, who's coming from that deep I formation, bottom of your screen, and you'll see the defenders converge on Scott on the fake. And Davis Alexander, with that distraction from his running back, able to walk it around the left edge.
Extremely impressive opening half from Davis Alexander. 210 yards through the air and a touchdown. And now a rushing touchdown. And he's picking up where he left off in the regular season. Well, Davis Alexander right back to the tablet here with his head coach. You're right, great fake on that. Eh?
Yeah, fantastic. Had the desired effect. You know, and as you were touching on during the break, Dustin, maybe nice that Davis Alexander didn't have to necessarily go full speed running it into the end zone, as he may have had a little PTSD.
Well, he had one rushing touchdown during this season, and it was essentially to cap off a game-winning drive, and it ended up leading to the hamstring injury.
Yeah, re-injury.
Yeah, re-injuring it. So that's his 2nd one. This one he's healthy. Boy, they could use a spark from Vattel. Vattel's going to find a little bit of space here. Takes it out almost to the 50. Might have been more meat on that bone for Vattel, but they're able to wrap him up.
Oh, Davis Alexander. Here's the original injury against Edmonton. Just trying to break contain there. You see him pull up, point to the bench right away. Came back a couple weeks later against the Toronto Argonauts. The good news is you scored a touchdown. The bad news is the sniper got him again.
Collaros has got to find some offense here. Drops it in near sideline. Corcoran's got it. He's got a first down. Just the second of the game for the visitors.
Yeah, Joey Corcoran, Montreal native. Rookie with the Bombers this season, played his college football at New Hampshire. Getting a few more reps today, he along with Kevin Sklosius in that spot. 39th overall pick in the draft. Got a little bit of an introduction to Darnell Sankey.
I saw that. I saw Sankey came over to say hello. Collaros gets it away. And that is to the fullback, Chris Ike. Only a few yards on first down.
Quick hitter there to Chris Ike. Got some reps last game at Brady Oliveira. The load management week in the season finale last week. Matthew Peterson started running back in that one. We saw Chris Ike take a lot of the fourth quarter at tailback. Usually the fullback here had a big run in that ball game.
I'll have to find 6 more to keep this drive alive. Collaros takes off up the middle, looking to do it himself. Ball pops out! And now a man scramble for it just outside the 40. The Alouettes say that they're on it, and they are! Montreal takes it away on the fumble from Collaros. Alouettes Berglund comes up with it. Things go from bad to even worse for the Bombers.
No question that turnovers were going to be one of the keys to this ball game. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers needed to protect the ball. Isaac Berglund gets his second forced fumble of the ball game, and this time caps it off with the recovery. The pride of Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, making his presence felt here.
Have yourself a game. Alexander takes over again. And he's got a completion. Rambo wide open. They'll move the chains again. This one goes for 14.
Well, Charleston Rambo starts off motioning down to the formation in tight. He's basically giving himself room to work here, as opposed to knowing he wants to run that out route, doesn't want to line up too close to the sideline in his initial alignment.
Almost 100 yards in the opening half for Rambo. His quarterback's got 224. Wanted some more to Sneed, but he missed him that time. Sneed working against Parker on the other side of the field.
Yeah, trying to lead him out to that wide side. Just a little bit too much on that one. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers defensively really haven't had an opportunity to get their feet underneath them in this ball game, as the Alouettes came out slinging it.
Time of possession right now in the ballpark of 18 minutes to 9 in favor of Montreal. Back to Philpott. Philpott broke a tackle and got a first down. And that takes us inside 3 minutes here in Montreal, and it has been all Alouettes. These guys look like the real deal. Alexander giving it to that Bombers sideline.
My goodness, welcome to the Montreal Alouettes show. Davis Alexander, unstoppable. Isaac Berglund. Bombers coming back, guys? Phil, you okay? Oh, Phil, we made him cry.
More fun coming up at halftime. This has not been a fun half. Look at that, 16-2. If you are a Bombers fan watching your team get dismantled a little bit here so far. Another completion, this time to Philpott.
Well, you know, I think about the Winnipeg Blue Bombers playing playoff games, postseason games in Montreal. And I can't help but think about the 2001 Grey Cup. And I can understand why Milt is a little upset back in studio.
That one stings a little bit still.
It does. I can imagine.
Second, about half a yard here. Patterson back into the game for the Alouettes. Eats over the pile, finds the 30, and that is a first down. Davis Alexander, this guy's at a 500-yard pace right now. He's at 246 yards with a couple of minutes left in the half, and he's got the ball right now. If there's any, playoff games will get increased with intensity as you work your way towards the big one. But any question mark about this spotlight being too big for him has certainly been answered.
Well, I mean, Davis Alexander told us yesterday, when it comes to playoffs, he's built for this. And he is proven to be a man of his word so far.
He's completed 10 of his last 11. This time he'll hand it off to Scott. Stiff arm to find a little bit of space. Takes it down to the 25. Well, it's night and day for this club when they've got Davis Alexander, a quarterback, and when they don't. Perfect with him. 3-8 without him. Not going to hang all of those losses just on quarterback play, but this speaks volumes, doesn't it?
Yeah, certainly. This is a guy who provides a boost. You know, I talk all the time about teams taking their cues, taking their personality from their head coach and their starting quarterback. These are two of the most fiercely competitive individuals you will ever encounter, and it rubs off on the rest of the team.
Alexander feeling the heat, throws it away, and that is out of bounds. He has he's not been pressured very much in this ball game. Felt it there, threw it away. That will set up another field goal opportunity here for Jose Maltos Diaz.
And smart decision by Davis Alexander, recognizing the score, the situation, obviously within field goal range, a chance to extend that lead. You know, it's been on a heater here in the first half, but you don't need to try and force anything.
33-yard attempt for Maltos Diaz. Zima to hold, gets it down, and that kick is up, and it is wide and through the end zone. 25-3. Well, how about this? A little Zach to the future here for you. My favorite movie series of all time. I'm very excited about this. 55-22.
Yeah, very impressive, obviously, from the moment he arrived in Winnipeg, acquired in 2019, and led them on the first Grey Cup run.
On the hoverboard and Back to the Future 2, dialing it back to 1885 here. 5 straight Grey Cups for that man. And here's the nemesis. That is Davis Alexander with an older Biff Alexander. It's going to be an interesting looking old man, I think, there, yeah. But with these two guys here today, obviously, one guy just breaking in, the other guy, Hall of Fame career.
But cut from the same cloth, absolutely, these two.
Polaris over the middle, drops it in there to Jarrett Stearns, and man, they could put something on the board here, something to build on at the end of the half. That go a long way. That goes for 21 yards.
Yeah, strike here, and this is the veteran poise of Zach Collaros. Obviously, the Bombers have taken a few heavy blows in the early going.
Pressure in his face, gets it away, back to Stearns, and Stearns will step out of bounds. They'll mark him out at the 40-yard line with 67 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, this is where the experience, when you look at the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, you know, a number of guys in their lineup, when you think about, you know, Stanley Bryant, Pat Neufeld on that offensive line, obviously Zach Collaros, Willie Jefferson, Jake Thomas on defense, very experienced, and especially with these 5 runs to the Grey Cup, they've been in every situation. They should be unfazed here.
Collaros with time looking around, just dumps it off. Gets it into the hands of Gavin Cobb for the first time today.
Cobb once again starting in place of the injured Nick Dembski, a free agent signing from Edmonton in the offseason.
Clock ticks under a minute. Collaros gets it away again, down to the 25, right back into the reliable hands of Jarrett Stearns, and another first down.
Yeah, Stearns, the inside receiver in that trip set to the field. He's working across the middle. Been a nice add for a Winnipeg team that has battled a lot of injuries, the receiver position throughout this year. Real steady at force.
35 seconds on the clock. They'll bring a little bit of pressure. Collaros feeling it. He's in trouble, and he will be taken down. It's Beverett who gets there. Had 7 sacks in the regular season.
And Tyrese Beverett, guy who does a little bit of everything in this defense. See Beverett standing up, mugged up at the line of scrimmage. Just manages to beat the block of the center.
Collaros finds Wheatfall, steps out of bounds with 19 seconds on the clock.
And fine line here for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Obviously, they're in position to get points on the board. Anything is valuable for Winnipeg at this stage in the ball game. But you really want to get a touchdown.
That's why they're not bringing out the field goal unit here.
Like, you got to believe.
You want to zap some of this momentum, put a ball in the end zone.
Yeah.
3rd and 5. For Collaros. Got it away. Oh, maybe he didn't. Did not get that ball snapped in time. Was trying. And no timeout to save the day on that one. Alexander is just
time count violation. Winnipeg
losing it on the sideline.
This is a 10-yard penalty. We'll replay 3rd down. Trop de temps pour mettre le ballon en jeu. Winnipeg numéro 8. C'est une pénalité d'hiver. Ça va être 3e essai.
Coach Moss counting it down on the sideline.
Getting his steps in over there as well.
So instead it will be a field goal attempt, and they'll have to settle for 3. 37-yarder from Castillo. Banged one in from 44 earlier in the half. And he sneaks this one through as well. So some points, but in the end, felt the crowd here in Montreal identified that as a small victory for the Alouettes.
Yeah, for sure. Certainly not what the Winnipeg Blue Bombers were looking for after a drive on which they really seemed to have a little bit of momentum. And again, given the way this first half has gone, credit the Winnipeg Blue Bombers for coming up with that response late in the half. But unfortunately, the operation had a little bit of trouble.
Cade and the guys at the half. Lots to break down from this one. Another game still to come today on TSN as well. And Davis Alexander, the Montreal Alouettes, in full command. 25-6 at the half.
Yeah, the Montreal Alouettes had their foot on the gas right from the opening snap of this ball game. And it hasn't moved from that position since. Very impressive opening 30 minutes of postseason football for the home team. And that's included an outstanding first half for Tyson Philpott.
Philpott getting involved on the ground. left on the ground to get things going. And then a deep shot from Alexander finds him in the end zone. And he's standing by with our Matthew Shinetti. Tyson, over 300 yards of offense doesn't happen by accident. And I want to go to that touchdown grab that you had, high pointing the ball at the right time. Take us through the chemistry that this offense has built with Davis Alexander at quarterback.
Yeah, man, we're a big play offense. You know, we make these plays in practice all the time, and we're just talking about doing it on the big stage. And, you know, I got so much trust in Davis. He's got so much trust in me. He knows anytime he puts that ball up, I'm going to go get it. And, you know, it's been a year since I've been in the playoffs. Didn't get in the playoffs last year, so, yeah, I just had to let it all out.
Start aggressive, stay aggressive, I imagine, is going to be the message at halftime.
Absolutely. It's 0-0 going into halftime. We're even-headed coming out of the second half. We know this is a great team that's been to the playoffs. They've battled adversity before, so we got to play an even better half.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Well, Kate, who would have expected this? The Winnipeg Blue Bombers are down 19 in Montreal.
And Matt, just to clarify, it is not a 0-0 football game. Nope. This is a 25-6 beatdown at the half. Back alongside Enoch Mwamba, Davis Sanchez, Milt Stegall, and just absolute dominance courtesy of Montreal. I mean, they came out swinging in this game, and basically Winnipeg has had zero answer. Davis Alexander has been on an absolute tear. And Enoch, what has happened to this Winnipeg defense so far?
There are a lot. You talk about no answers. Jordan Youngers has some questions that he needs to answer. I'm just wondering what kind of calls he's making right now. There's a lot of, you're not affecting Davis Alexander, and it's an issue right here, right now. You see Mason and you see the running backs. This is Max Pro, the defense. You know that there's going to be a long shot. 6 guys covering 2 guys on that side. Now you leave it for a one-on-one on this side, and Davis Alexander is going to make good on that. He needs to be impacted. Okay, so what do we do now? Another version of max protection right there with a receiver and a tight end over there. Okay, all these guys in the box, they're coming full speed. That's what you want to have for Jordan Younger. Guess what happens? He's rushing his read. He's got to step up. He's not as accurate. What do you think is going to happen? You got to do it again. Waters comes on the other side. There's no end, but you're bringing Tony Jones, who's second in the league in tackles, but you're bringing him from so far out, and guess where he ends up? That circle right there, it is no man's land. He is of no use. He might as well be on the sideline, and guess what? Davis Alexander is not going to make a mistake on those type of throws. You got to impact him every single time. Make him run, make him move. Right now, this is what we call a belt-to-backside type of performance by the Montreal Alouettes, and they're not doing anything about it.
246 yards, courtesy of Davis Alexander. Yeah. He's been phenomenal, and we've been talking about this too, just the body language alone.
Oh, my
Davis Alexander is out there getting the crowd into it. He's getting his teammates into it, and there is nothing going on right now on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers sideline. But I look at a guy like Brady Oliveira, too. I mean, he's got 4 attempts, 15 yards. We talked about the game back in week number 12 that he had against this Montreal team. Ches, what's going on there?
Yeah, you said it, the confidence of Davis Alexander. We wondered how would he be in his first playoff start. Well, he came out. I mean, they went field goal, touchdown, it's 17 butts. Now, what do we say Winnipeg had to do? Well, you got to run Brady. That's how you attack a defense, Northorpe, that moves around and gives you a bunch of stuff. Pre-snap, brings different guys, drops different guys, run right at them. Well, Kate, you said it. 4 carries, 15 yards with a long of 6. When you have that, you can't run the ball. First down success, you're second and long, you can't run. This guy right here, look at him. He's talking to the Winnipeg bench. What? He's like, you guys, come to Winnipeg. Come on, we got that smoke. That, to me, the confidence that he has, really, it comes a lot from Jason Moss' game plan. It was, would he be confused by the looks? Well, Jason Moss gave a bunch of quicks early. He's confident. He was getting screens, quick hitches. Now he's doing whatever he wants to do.
There's so much to unpack with these Winnipeg Blue Bombers right now. I mean, they came out. There was no sense of urgency, their body language, and having some pride. I got Davis Alexander running in front of me, and nobody is having an upheave. I don't see Willie Jefferson. I don't see anybody. They have guys who've been on this team who've gone to 5 straight Grey Cups. They need to come out and show some pride. Do they have an opportunity to win this game? Of course they... No, they don't. They don't have an opportunity.
What did you say, Mill?
They don't. They don't. Not what I've seen out of this first half. They don't have an opportunity to win this game. They haven't shown me anything. Davis Alexander is showing these guys up. This is the guy who started 11 games, and he's showing these guys up. They don't have a chance. I don't believe it. I love my Bombers, but they don't have a chance.
Again, too, what we said in the pregame, too, what's mind-blowing about the whole situation, Winnipeg picked this.
This is what they wanted.
They rested all their starters in the final week of the regular season because they're like, this is the matchup that I want. Oh, Montreal is making them pay. With more on the Alouettes, down the hall, it's Paul Lapalisse.
I'm pretty amazed at what's going on with Montreal, and they're doing it what I always call, when you watch Montreal play, it's called short shot plays. Davis just talked about it. This team loves to run a lot of screen passes. Davis Alexander's right now 73% completion, 3 receivers, 2 low defenders. What do? You block the low defender, get Austin Mack the ball in space, 11-yard game. That's the run game that Montreal likes to play with. Charleston Rambo here on a quick speed out. The ball's out of the hands, into space to your receivers. Let them run with the football. I talked about it. Not a big run team, but when you do a couple of these, then here comes the shot play. There's 3 explosive plays in this game. You got to dig with a post. Keep your eyes on the halfback. The quarterback's just going to read what the field halfback does. If he flat-foots it all, throw it up to Tyson Philpott. Give him an opportunity to make the catch in space. That's what this team does so well. Jason Moss puts Davis Alexander in easy situations, in giving the ball to him, really easy shots, and then the shot play downfield. Now, Brady Oliveira, 4 carries. It's not going to matter if they don't get some first downs. Winnipeg's got to find some first downs, Kate. I don't know where they're going to get them, but they got to find them.
Lapo, because it has been an absolute clinic courtesy of the Montreal Alouettes. So far, they're up 25-6. Coming up after the break, we got a Western showdown ahead of us. The panel talks about that next. Winnipeg, it is the Western semifinal from BC Place. Nathan Rourke out to prove that the BC Lions made the right choice keeping him. On the flip side, Vernon Adams Jr. will try and seek revenge against his former team. It's as good as a storyline as it gets in the CFL. We got VA, we got Nathan Rourke. Enoch, I pose the question to you. Is this game more important for VA, trying to prove that they made the wrong decision, or Nathan Rourke, that they made the right decision?
That's tough. Listen, they're both competitors. They both want to win it as much, but I think that it goes to Vernon Adams Jr. He was the one that was rejected. He's the one that was let go, and this is now the team that he's trying to make a point with, that, hey, I have a squad, but it's not just about the squad. It is me that impacts the game. And you look at Nathan Rourke, he had a great season, and he did a great job already. I'm looking at Vernon Adams right now and seeing what he's going to do to show up tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you. I think the pressure's on Nathan because there is no decision of who made the best decision. It's Nathan Rourke. He's a franchise guy. He's probably the MVP. There's no question who made the right decision. But if VA beats him now in the biggest spot, in the biggest game, and outplays him, that's a conversation. But Nathan Rourke, there's no question the decision that was made. The pressure's all on Nathan. VA has nothing to lose here. Nathan's expected to outplay him.
I love you, work, son, but I got to agree with the little brother I never wanted. Yeah, it's all on Nathan. No one is expecting Vernon Adams to go out there and beat the BC Lions. All the pressure's on Nathan because of the year he's had, especially these last 6 games. They're expecting him to keep it going. A lot of pundits have the BC Lions in the Grey Cup, and they have it because of Nathan Rourke. So the pressure's on Nathan. It would be nice for VA to go out there and put up a great game and possibly win, but the pressure's on Nathan because no one is expecting the Calgary Stampeders to win this game.
I don't mean to beat up on Enoch here, too, but I completely agree with you. All the pressure today is on Nathan.
I'm out of here, man.
Well, you know what I think, too? The pressure's on, too, because, I mean, he got the best of VA in the 2 regular season games. And you know what the thing was, too? He was fantastic in those games. He had the 6 passing touchdowns. He had the 3 rushing touchdowns. He was absolutely dominant. So you got to keep that level, and you're in front of your home fans. And look what happened to them last year, too. I mean, this was another team that wanted to make the Grey Cup in their own stadium. Speaking of teams that want to make the Grey Cup in their own stadium.
VA, I got you.
Hey, I'm talking about the Bombers
your work
now.
like you're a kid. I like your work, kid.
It's all I give
What a first half for the Montreal Alouettes. They lead 25-6 over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. One of the Bombers' leaders on defense, Willie Jefferson, standing by with Matthew Shinetti.
Willie, what kind of challenge is this team facing in the second half?
It's an uphill battle, right? You know, hostile territory, back against the wall. You know what I'm saying? We down 19. We just got to fight. We just got to keep fighting.
How do you lead in this situation, given all your experience and achievement, knowing the situation?
Just go out there and just try to get the ball back for the offense, communicate on defense, and just try to stop the explosions.
Thank you, Willie.
Thank you. Let's get it.
Willie Jefferson and his defense on the field for 20 minutes in the first half of that ball game, Dwayne.
Yeah, just unreal performance offensively from the Montreal Alouettes. Absolutely clinical. And the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, just as Willie alluded to, need to find some answers here. I mean, he's speaking for the defense. Doesn't matter what.
He comes to Vavel, and he'll take it just short of the 50.
Yeah, I mean, from that defensive point of view, it doesn't matter what the offense does, but the defense needs to get some stops. Obviously, Zach Collaros and this offense need to get going and answer the challenge being laid down here by that Montreal O.
Couple of fumbles in the first half for Zach. Winnipeg covered the first one, not the second one. Found a few targets later in the half, but they did have to settle for a field goal. Zach ends up 10 of 12 for 112 yards. No more room for error for Winnipeg in this one. Collaros down the field, and he drops it in just inside the 35. He finds Gavin Cobb for his most important play as a Bomber.
Now, once again, Cobb playing in place of the injured Nick Dembski, working towards the corner there. Breaks it off. Nice touch on that one from Collaros. Push that ball down the field a little bit.
8 completions in a row for Collaros. That one goes for 27. Of course, that man, Nick Dembski, not in the lineup today. And Collaros' favorite weapon, watching from the sideline. Now Zach, pressure in his face, sends one down the field. Incomplete, but a flag right at the end. Was looking for Stearns. Sutton defending, and we'll give you another look at this one.
Yeah, you'll see as this ball hangs up a little bit, Jareth Stearns adjusts to it. Sutton in pursuit. Unable really to slow down as he's trying to make up ground. There you see he sort of bumps the receiver off the spot as he's scrambling to try and catch up.
There's 2 penalties on the play, both against Montreal. Offside, Montreal 96. That penalty's declined. Defensive pass interference, Montreal 37. That's the penalty we'll accept. It's going to be first down for Winnipeg at the spot of the foul. 2 pénalités contre Montréal. Hors-jeu, refusé, passe interférence. Premier essai Winnipeg.
Remember, no Chris Strebler here in terms of short yardage for the Bombers. Terry Wilson, the second-year man, taking on those duties. Strebler hurt. Knee injury in the season finale, which he started against Montreal. Much discussion going on between the Alouettes coaching staff and the officials.
Jason Moss is going to challenge this
Montreal
PI.
is challenging the last ruling of defensive pass interference. They believe there should not have been that penalty, obviously. Montréal demande une révision du jeu. Ils sont d'avis qu'il n'y aurait pas devrait eu à avoir, pardon, une pénalité pour passe interférence ce dernier jeu. Le jeu va être revisé.
Well, what do you think, Dwayne? What do you think about the decision here to challenge this?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be surprised as you see. You know, I mean, I think Sutton tries to adjust and not run through him at the end. But the fact is he ran through the receiver who's trying to stop to get to the football.
Yeah, there's clear contact from Sutton onto Stearns. Interesting challenge from Moss. Let's get the ruling.
Upon further review, the ruling on the field stands. Montreal loses their challenge, and they are out of timeouts. Suite à la révision du jeu, la décision sur le terrain est maintenue. Montréal perd, ça demande la révision et n'a plus aucun temps mort pour le restant du match. First down, Winnipeg.
Play stands, call stands. Terry Wilson in the game at quarterback for Winnipeg. This would be a big boost to the Bombers' hopes. Goes straight up the middle with it. Terry Wilson looking for the end zone underneath a pile right now. They try to find him in that mix. And he was stopped just short.
Another great look here with the spider cam. Just not quite enough movement from that offensive line. Bomber or the Alouette defense holding strong.
They'll try it again. Second and goal from that Alouette one. Can Wilson find a path through this time? And now there's a challenge flag on the field from Osh. Saying that this was a touchdown?
Well, you know, to me, sort of intuitively, it looked like that ball may have been across the front plane of the
from
goal
that
line.
top look
from
we
that
had right at the very first moment,
initially,
right?
yeah. And he may have been moved back, but I'm just not sure that your evidence is going to be conclusive enough here.
It's a challenge party here early in the second half.
Winnipeg is challenging the ruling on the last play. They believe a touchdown had been scored.
Yeah, and now
Winnipeg demande une revision du dernier jeu. Ils sont d'avis qu'un touché avait été compté. The play will be reviewed.
Bear in mind here, you know, I mean, when you see where he moves, you see where the line is, it looks like, you know, yeah, it would seem reasonable that the ball has broken the plane, but seeming reasonable is not the standard of proof that's necessary here. You know, bear in mind that the spider cam look that we had is a little bit behind the ball. It's not directly above. So we'll get a look here. You know, but your issue here is that both the ball and the line are obscured. Okay, so looking from this angle, again, it looks like the ball has broken the plane. It just has to cross the field side.
But can you see it?
Goal line. But, yeah.
Upon further review, the ruling on the field stands. Winnipeg loses their challenge and the first team timeout. Suite à la révision du jeu, la décision sur le terrain maintenue. Winnipeg perd sa demande de révision et un temps mort. Second down.
Back-to-back interesting challenges from our two veteran head coaches. Second and goal for Terry Wilson again. Wilson, can he find the end zone this time? No! Stopped short yet again. Beverett on top of him yet again.
Yeah, Beverett absolutely springs through. He's coming from second level right by the goalpost. Springs over the top and wraps up Terry Wilson right side of your screen.
Well, if you were wondering how important Strebler is, we're witnessing it right here. Is the third time the charm for number 3. Wilson pushing towards the end zone, and he's there this time. Had to have it, and he got it for the Bombers. Touchdown, Winnipeg.
Fascinating formation there to me from a Winnipeg perspective. Is I think they may have had 11 guys on the line of scrimmage. Here you see, I think it was 10 in the box, 1 out wide, and of course Wilson carrying the ball.
Beverett hanging off of Wilson's back again at the top of that pile, and it was the second effort. That initial push was stopped again. Second effort gets the job done, and after all of that, 5 plays, 61 yards, big penalty in there for PI, and a touchdown that Winnipeg pretty much had to have. Not even a smile from O'Shea.
And the Winnipeg Blue Bombers get the start that they needed to the second half. Strike to Gavin Cobb to get things started. Pick up a chunky yardage on a pass interference call with the ball intended for Jarrett Stearns. 3 cracks from the 1-yard line, and they needed all of them. Finally, punching it in on 3rd and goal, much to the delight of their coaching staff up in the booth.
Now they'll need their defense to somehow slow down Davis Alexander. Letcher takes it just inside the 15, and a slip, bounces back up, and then he'll be taken down by Ball. Here's a look at a very impressive first half from Davis Alexander.
Yeah, and it was right from the get-go in this ball game. You know, out of the gate, you heard Lapo in the panel talk about it at halftime. You know, short pass, long pass when you get that defense starting to creep up a little bit. Short pass, long pass over the top. Tyson Philpott with his first of 2 touchdowns in this ball game. He had one on the ground as well earlier. Davis Alexander, 1 on the ground. Terrific opening 30 for the Montreal Alouettes.
Just shy of 250 passing yards for Alexander in the first half. Scott had 47 on 8 carries in the first half. Now some flags right at the end of this play.
That'd be interesting to see which way this goes. A couple flags on the ground. Jaden Woodby, Winnipeg linebacker, involved in a little bit of a shoving match with an Alouette player that was down, but not sure what precipitated that.
And Major talking this out with his crew.
So watch for Woodby coming from the far left side of your screen. And you see Charleston Rambo coming across on the block. He didn't get him on the cut block and has then essentially wrapped him up, like tried to pull him down. And that was the frustration for Woodby as he was trying to push him off.
Rambo's just hanging on his ankles.
There's 2 penalties after the play. They're both misconduct fouls. Winnipeg 26, that's a 15-yarder. Montreal number 10. The net difference is 5 yards, makes it a first down for Montreal. 2 pénalités d'inconduite, 26-14, différentiel essai vert, premier essai Montréal.
So 5-yard difference, first down Montreal. Davis Alexander, the guilty party on the other side.
Jaden Woodby.
Okay, so it wasn't Alexander. It was announced incorrectly. It was Rambo.
Yes. Yes.
I thought Davis was so fired up he would have said something. Here's Alexander, pressure in his face, gets around it, and throws the ball far side, taken away. What a play by the defense of the Bombers, a silencer here in Montreal. Allen, thank you very much, and the Bombers are in business.
Well, one of the few times in this ball game Davis Alexander has been forced out of rhythm throwing the football. When it happens, he's on the scramble, he's late, and as a result, Cam Allen, right side of your screen, is able to make a break and get underneath that football on the sideline. Allen took over that safety position midway through the season, had 2 picks in the regular season, but none bigger than this. The East semifinal.
What an ideal start for Winnipeg in this second half. Colares now, 1-on-1, far side of the field, drops it in there. He found the man down to the 5 and out of the end zone. And bang, bang, we've got a game here in Montreal, 54 yards. Let's go! To Wilson. Do you believe this?
Now, I don't know if y'all know this, but the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have been to 5 straight Grey Cups. And they kind of like it. They weren't going to give this game up easily. Huge play defensively. Zach Colares, he's got a little swagger left too. Down the rail to Ontario Wilson. And ladies and gentlemen, we got ourselves a ball game.
Just like that. Less than 4 minutes to all of a sudden have Castillo sitting here attempting to make it a 5-point game. A stunning turn of events. Castillo. And yes, nails it. 5-point game in Montreal.
And here's the latest strike from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Keep an eye on Ontario Wilson. Little out and up, able to get a little bit of separation in behind Lorenzo Burns. Zach Collaros drops it on him, nice juke at the end to get into the end zone. And Zach says that's more like it. Cam Allen, who had the interception to get things started, fired up on the sidelines. Bombers had 95 points off turnovers in the regular season, good for 4th in the league.
Fletcher takes it just inside the 20, and he's drilled at the 35. Come on! Wilson, 3 touchdowns in the 6 games he played, returning to the Bombers, and a big one here, and Winnipeg erasing a large chunk of that 19-point halftime deficit in just a matter of minutes.
Oh yeah, when you go back to the end of the half, field goal right at the end of the half, you're talking about 17 points in less than 5 minutes in this football game, completely changing the face of this playoff match.
And Alexander settled back in. He'll go down the field, middle of the field. He's got Philpott, ball box, and it's picked up by Holmes. What is happening here in Montreal? Holmes got it. He's going to take it back down inside the 30. And Winnipeg has done it again. This is remarkable. Philpott might be saying it's not a completed pass. And we'll have to get a look.
Yeah, and you take a look, receiver at the top of your screen. Philpott able to get open comfortably for the catch. Now, he may argue that he didn't have full control of that. The one time you'll say a receiver say, I didn't have it. There you see he's got it pinned against his arm in one hand. Now remember, Montreal used a challenge earlier.
Here's a look at it in full speed. It was pinned against his arm, then it looked like he just got it against his body when it was knocked out.
I mean, it happens quickly, and when you see it at full speed, you realize how fine a line it is. The play goes on, it's really the catch.
And Collaros has it again. He's got pressure in his face, dumps it off to Brady Oliveira. Brady's going to take it down to the 20, now to the 10, and he stopped just short of the 5. And the crowd here in Montreal is stunned.
The Winnipeg Blue Bombers responding like a house on fire here in the second half of this football game.
Back inside the 10, it'll be a 1st and goal from the Montreal 7. Can Collaros find a lead just 5 minutes into this second half? Oliveira stands to his quarterback's left. Zach looks to his left, pressure up the middle, throws it towards the back of the end zone. Oh, and of course, it had to, didn't it? Doink! Off the uprights.
The pass hit the upright by Rule. It's an incomplete pass. Second down.
Unbelievable. Oh, boy.
I think I just got a text from Stuart Johnston saying, I told you so.
See? Oh. Imagine if that's the momentum killer here. Another crack at it, second and goal. Collaros, pressure coming backside, looks towards the end zone, broken up on a flag. Tried to find Wheatfall. Burns was there.
Defensive pass interference. Montreal number 20. Foul occurred in goal. It's going to be first down Winnipeg at the 1 yard line.
Watch for the left arm of the defender here, Burns. Little tug around the waist of Wheatfall. And there was no argument from Burns when he hit the turf here. He sees the flag on the ground. He just sat on one knee for a moment. There was no protesting.
Round of boos from the crowd here. They don't know what else to do. Wilson looking for a lead for Winnipeg. Right up the middle, pushing it in, and he's there. Touchdown Bombers! And in just 6 minutes, they've eliminated a 19-point deficit and have the lead on the road in the East semifinal.
Well, Terry Wilson again pressed into a much larger role in this Bombers offense than he had anticipated going into week 21, an injury to Chris Strebler. And he finds himself in a couple critical positions here in the third quarter of this playoff game, and he responds with a couple of touchdowns.
Castillo for a 2-point cushion. He's got it, but a long way to go in this one. This is a shocker. What a turn of events here for Winnipeg. A dream start to the second half of this football game.
Well, we talked about, Dustin, at the end of the first half of this football game. Again, this is a Winnipeg team whose experience means that they have seen so many different situations. They've been in so many big games over the course of the previous 5 seasons. For so many other opponents, what Montreal did in the first half would have buckled them. But not the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, who have responded in remarkable fashion here to open the second half of this ball game.
Interception and a fumble. Willie Jefferson telling Matthew Shinetti at the half, defense has got to go out there and get the ball back for their offense. And they've done it. Collaros tried to stay warm on the sideline. He's up to 212 yards on 13 of 16. And settle in. This one is just getting really good. Ledger takes it at the 5. Back up to the 20. A little bit of room on the sideline. And sneaks his way up to the 35 before he is pushed out of bounds. 21 points scored in a span of 3:37 for the Bombers.
Well, they needed a response, they got it. One of the other considerations is, you know, we talked about it, panel talked about it. I think this also brings Brady Oliveira back into the game.
100%. Davis Alexander has the ball, trailing for the first time today. Under pressure again, dumps it off. Willie in his face. Tony Jones talking trash. And an incompletion for Alexander.
And again, credit defensive coordinator Jordan Younger and the men on the field. For managing to get Davis Alexander out of his rhythm a little bit here in the second half. It was something they couldn't accomplish in the opening 30 minutes of this football game.
He's got a 2nd and 10 now. Bombers sent 4, now just 3. Jones comes late, near side for Philpott, and a first down, a much needed first down to calm down the Alouettes. Goes for 12.
Seeing just some interesting looks here from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers defensively. Middle linebacker Tony Jones starts off out wide, and what he's going to do is try and impact the receiver on his release a little bit, but then he's moving down to the box, basically to contain the quarterback, Davis Alexander.
First and 10 from their own 47. Alexander down the field, another deep shot, lays it out there, hauled in by Mack. Austin Mack went and got it back inside the red zone. Goes Montreal. 50-yard strike.
And what an answer back from the Montreal Alouettes after facing their first adversity of the day. Davis Alexander over the top again. And this time it's Austin Mack putting the Owls deep in Bomber territory. Tremendous layout, great effort, twisting at the end to keep that ball off the ground as he lands.
Montreal looking for a response. They'll give it to Scott. Nice, Scott down to the 5, and he's got it. Alouettes answer back. Touchdown, Montreal. Stevie Scott responds.
This one broke wide open as Stevie Scott's going to high step it into the end zone. Terrific job by that Alouette offensive line. Keep an eye on the right side here. Mashing things down. Charleston Rambo, great lead block by the receiver coming in.
Had just one rushing touchdown during the regular season. He's got himself a playoff TD as well. Maltos Diaz knocks it through. Montreal back on top by 5 in a seesaw affair. 4 plays, 75 yards, and the Alouettes stop the bleeding. The legacy of Blue Buds continues. Donnie Wahlberg, Sanigo Martin Green, Boston Blue. All new Fridays on CTV. Stream the next day on Crave. He's got a quarter and a half left here. This has been an eventful 8 minutes to start the second half.
Yes, Stevie Scott, the latest to find the end zone here in the third quarter.
He's averaging 6.4 yards per carry. He's doing pretty. They're able to get something on the ground here, yeah. Maltos Diaz kicks it away. Vavel at the 25. Finds some space and returns it about 20 yards on that return. And Zach Kolaris, just 3 incompletions so far in the ball game for Zach. He'll start this drive on his own 44.
Yeah, threw for a high percentage in the win here in August.
Brady Oliveira, just 4 carries so far. There's his 5th. Trying to find some space, spins his way around Najee Murray up to the 50. 6 yards, ties his longest run in the first half.
And just a good patient run for Brady Oliveira here. He's not just trying to ram it in there, but picking his spot. Maybe a little bit of the tutelage of Andrew Harris showing through, a little spin-off contact there at the end. Pick up extra yards.
Kolaris looking for 4 more. Montreal will send 6. Zach in trouble, trying to escape, taken down back at the line of scrimmage. Najee Murray was there to make the play, and it'll be a 2-and-out for the Bombers.
Well, plenty of history between these two guys. Najee Murray, number 12, coming from the bottom of your screen. Longtime Alouette defender. in his youth a ball boy at Steubenville High School in Ohio, where the quarterback was one Zach Collaros.
Oh, wow. 3rd and 4. Jamison Sheehan to kick it away. He'll hang this one up there, end over end. Fletcher waits, takes it at the 12. And he is stopped shy of the 20. Well, it is with heavy hearts that we pay tribute to our colleague and dearly departed friend, Ross Williamson. Montreal native whose career in sports television spanned nearly half a century. He was a mainstay on CFL, NHL, World Juniors curling broadcasts and was a beloved teammate and mentor to so many in the industry. On behalf of all of those who were blessed to know Roscoe, we send our deepest condolences to his wife and 3 daughters. Well, it's been quite the afternoon for the 2 quarterbacks so far in this game. For more on that relationship, let's send it down to Matthew Giannetti.
It was earlier this season, Dustin, when Owls defensive lineman Sean Lemon asked Zach Collaros to text Davis Alexander, because Lemon looked at Davis Alexander and saw a lot of a younger Zach Collaros. And Davis Alexander, when he watches Zach Collaros, sees himself too, especially when Collaros rolls out of the pocket and throws a corner ball on the run. And as they were talking, Alexander became more appreciative just the time that Collaros was taken. That's the exchange from one generation to another. Hall of Fame quarterback to a guy making his first playoff start. Jason Moss saw Zach Collaros early in his career when he was coaching the Toronto Argonauts, and he sees the same thing in Collaros that he does in Alexander: compete. But when I was talking to Collaros before the game, he said, I'm nervous before my 9th playoff start. But when the ball snapped, I want it. We've got a prize fight, guys.
Oh, they're both going to want it down the stretch for sure. Oh. And I have to tell you, Austin Mack got a hand on that, or that could have been some trouble.
Well, Davis Alexander with all sorts of appreciation for Zach Collaros, as mentioned, not just his time, his style of play, etc.
2nd and 10. Alexander, 3 to his left, 2 to his right, takes off, escapes up the middle, and he's got a first down with a slide. And a big one for the Alouettes.
A huge one. As he's under siege here, Willie Jefferson gets a hand on him, but couldn't wrap him up. Rather timely run to pick up that first down for Davis Alexander.
First and 10 for Montreal. On their own 30. They'll hand it off to Scott. And he takes it up for a short pickup. Here is Davis Alexander on his admiration for the veteran quarterback on the other side.
Zach is a stud. I mean, he's a true competitor. He leaves it all out on the line, and he's honestly a lot of fun to watch. I remember, my first year or two, kind of watching him and like the way he does read option and the way he throws like a really nice corner ball on the run and all that stuff. I was like, I kind of want to play exactly like how this guy wants to play. He's a gunslinger, and I've only heard such good things about him.
Not a bad guy to pattern your game after. Now Alexander, this time on the run to his left, lays one out there, and it's hauled in. Oh, he found Speaker in a soft spot in that defense.
Yeah, it wasn't the prettiest throw, but Alexander got it where he needed to, rolling to his left. Trying to get this one downfield, a tough throw. Went down a little awkwardly, by the way, and was slow getting up. But completes that football, moves the sticks.
Now they'll work from the 46. This time he gives it to his running back, and he's wrapped up by Thomas. Let's take another look at what Dwayne was mentioning there about Alexander after that last pass to Speaker.
Yeah, he got shoved over. James Vaughters in pursuit. You see him holding the arm a little gingerly after coming down.
Something to monitor. 90 seconds left in the third quarter. 5-point game. Scott stands directly behind his quarterback. Davis put some zip on that one. Rambo couldn't get there, and it drops in front of Allen. And that'll make it 3rd and 8.
Again, Cam Allen, who had the INT earlier in this ball game that set up a Winnipeg Blue Bomber touchdown. Almost got his hands on another one there with Alexander looking for Charleston Rambo across the middle.
Zima stands on his own 35. And he'll kick it away to Vavel. Vavel hasn't necessarily factored into this one just yet. And he won't here as they wrap him up and force him out of bounds. Well, get ready for NFL Sunday Night Football action as the Seahawks go up against the Commanders. Tune in tomorrow, 8:20 Eastern, 5:20 Pacific on TSN and CTV.
Still lots of football to be played here. Fantastic third quarter. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers roaring back to turn it into a ball game. The Montreal Alouettes respond. Retake the lead.
Anybody's ball game at this point. Time ticking down, third quarter. Brady moves over in the slot to the left of Collaros. Collaros thought about going down the field. Instead, he dumps it off. And Kokorin takes it ahead, and he's got a first down for Winnipeg.
Yeah, Joey Corcoran, the rookie, out of New Hampshire. He starts off in the backfield as he's part of the protection scheme here. The check release, he secures it, nobody's coming, get out, give your quarterback another receiver. You see how far off the linebackers were dropped. They were essentially conceding that first down yardage.
Back in the belly of Brady, pushes it ahead, his best run of the game. Takes it out beyond the Winnipeg 50. And if that guy gets going into the fourth quarter, it could be trouble for the Montreal Alouettes. It is the Alouettes, though, who do lead 32-27 after 3. There's really no other way to put it. The Bombers statistically got themselves back into this football game in that third quarter.
Yeah, and the big story, turnovers. And it's not necessarily what you would expect given the way things went during the regular season. A Winnipeg Blue Bomber team that was 8th in the Canadian Football League in terms of turnover differential, minus 11 during the season. Montreal among the league leaders at +8. But the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, their defense went and got that football. Went and got those key takeaways, and the offense was able to turn them into points and get them right back in it.
It could be what ends up happening here in the fourth quarter. One turnover, one way or the other, could decide this football game. Winnipeg 1-6 when trailing after 3 quarters in the regular season. From their own 53, Collaros just lays one out there. And coming back to it was Stearns. He's got it. He's down, but he's got a first down.
A nice touch on that football from Zach Collaros. A play that almost looks like it's just going to be a throwaway as he's getting his legs taken out from under him, but gets enough on the ball. Nice adjustment by Stearns. Fighting back to it for the Bomber first down.
Crowd here in Montreal trying to get behind their defense. Fourth catch of the game for Stearns. Collaros now tosses it ahead. And that was Wilson. Gets about 6 yards on the play.
Bombers known to get the receivers involved in the run game and variations thereof. Nick Dembski, usually a real go-to guy in that regard. He's such a unique player, right? So hard to replace in all that he does in this offense, but other members of this receiving corps trying to pick up the slack.
Azak yesterday, who steps into a Dembski role? He says, we don't have anybody who does a Dembski role. He's that unique. Collaros, hit as he throws, down the field, almost taken away. A couple of bobbles. First it was Sutton, then it was Beverett, and in the end, it's just incomplete.
Yeah, Bombers dodge a bullet there, as they are well within Sergio Castillo's range. Nice break to the football by Wes Sutton, but just unable to pull that one down. He steps in front of the intended receiver, Jareth Stearns.
Castillo from 44 yards. Automatic. Right down the middle. It is a 2-point ball game at Percival Molson Stadium. Big first half for that man. Philpott, 8 catches, 126 yards, and a touchdown. Well, let's dial it back a couple of years. And Philpott, 2023 Grey Cup, an absolute Blue Bomber killer. Biggest touchdown of his life with under 2 minutes left in the biggest game he's ever played. Targeted 8 times today, he's caught them all.
Yeah, Tyson Philpott, East Division Rookie of the Year in 2022. Outstanding Canadian in the Grey Cup in 23. Tremendous start to his career.
Start this drive with a handoff to Scott. Doesn't really go anywhere. Here's the consistency that we've seen from Tyson Philpott over his last 21 games.
And there you see over 1,500 yards, close to 1,600. You know, fighting through injuries, you see the numbers. Those 21 games. Just 9 last season, limited to 12 this year. But he just keeps on ticking, keeps producing. 2 touchdowns in this ball game, 1 on the ground, 1 through the air.
2nd and 8 here. Deep drop from Davis Alexander on the run to his right. Gets it away, trying to find Philpott. He was flying, and he could not get a hand on that one. And it'll be a 2 and out.
Well, and once again, it's Alexander out of rhythm, forced from the pocket. And we know that this is a guy that can create, can be productive off script, but I mean, he was surgically carving the Winnipeg Blue Bombers apart in the first half of this ball game, and they have taken away his precision here in the second half.
Zima will be forced to kick it away. Vavel dangerously waiting back at his own 20. Zima just got that away, angles it, bounces, and now taken on the one hop. Nowhere to go there for Vavel. One Canadian receiver playing today. Another star Canadian receiver sideline. Nick Dembski unable to go. Was out there warming up, trying to make it work.
Yeah, we watched him down at field level in the pregame, just trying to get loose. You know, working on his plans, testing things out a little bit. A big loss for the Bombers as you see where he stands. The Bombers' all-time receiving list. Guy at the front, at the top of the list, padded his stats, of course.
Probably untouchable at the top there, Milt. Collaros hands it off. Ball pops out. Oh, Brady Oliveira fumbled it. Did Montreal's defense find a way to recover? They did. Alouettes defense takes it away on a bobble by Brady. Oh, my goodness. Collaros puts it in the belly of Brady. Knocked loose. Couldn't get it back. Montreal ball. Well, what a play here. Corey Roberson Jr., who's getting the start because Oakman was released last night, makes a massive play.
Yeah, getting his left hand on that football. He gets penetration just at the right edge of your screen. Beats his block at the line of scrimmage. And there you see, reaching with the left, reaching for Oliveira, and pops that ball out. Roberson played a handful of games earlier in the season, but particularly with the return of Mustafa Johnson to the lineup. Obviously, Sean Oakman had played at an all-star level. Tough to get on the field.
Montreal takes over on the Winnipeg 27. Alexander, a ton of time bouncing around. Gets it to his running back, who's taken down. They wanted a penalty. Not going to get it. Like the official is giving it back to Davis Alexander there.
Tony Jones closing quickly as Alexander dumps it off to Stevie Scott. Jones is there, and you see him ripping to try and get that football back. And then secures the tackle just as the play was whistled dead.
Lost a yard, 2nd and 11. Can Winnipeg's defense hold after the fumble by Brady Oliveira? Alexander pressured, in trouble, and taken down. Late flag. Willie Jefferson celebrating.
Did he contact the face mask?
That is what Alexander is indeed saying. Ben Major trying to sort this out.
Yeah, Willie Jefferson coming from the defensive right, top of your screen, beats his man inside.
Foul, roughing the passer, face mask. Winnipeg number 5. Will go up 15 yards to the previous line of scrimmage. Automatic first down for Montreal. Rudesse le passeur, protecteur facial. Winnipeg numéro 5, premier essai Montréal.
A tough break for the Bombers, as obviously it's unintentional, but absolutely the right call.
Willie Jefferson not happy, but you saw the hand on the face mask. And now the ball sitting at the Winnipeg 13. Montreal looking for a little bit of a cushion. They'll give it to Scott, takes it down to the 10 and a little bit further before the Bombers eventually wrap him up. Kyrie Wilson in on the tackle.
Stevie Scott with a rushing touchdown in the 3rd quarter of this football game. Restored the Alouette lead after Winnipeg had come roaring back to start this 3rd quarter.
Jefferson checks back into the game on that D-line on a 2nd and 4. 3 options, wide side right for Alexander. They'll hand it off. Scott pushing it ahead, down inside the 5, still going, won't stop him, and he's to the end zone! Do you believe that? Touchdown, Montreal! Kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and Scott eventually fires it home.
And one of those moments where you almost wonder if the defense relaxed here a little bit, anticipating that the play was going to be whistled dead as his forward contact appeared to be stopped. But Stevie Scott, with a little help from his friends, his offensive line takes him for a ride into the end zone.
3 of the big fellas, eh? Basically just picking him up and pushing him to the promised land that time. Motos Diaz makes it a 9-point game with just under 9 to play.
A rather critical extra point there from Jose Motos Diaz. to ensure that it's a two-possession game at this point.
A two-touchdown day for Stevie Scott.
Yeah, how about this run? He's wrapped up, he's outnumbered. So his offensive line comes along to rejig those numbers.
Waters was in there all by himself.
And initially, you see 2 or 3 Bomber defenders there. A couple of them got picked off. Basically, you watch initially, there's Jones, Woodby is in there. Waters. But Jones and Woodby got picked off. Meanwhile, the cavalry came to the aid of Stevie Scott. And marched him into victory. Justin Lawrence, the center, all fired up.
Well, we've watched Winnipeg eliminate a 19-point deficit and take the lead. Now they'll have to eliminate a 9-point deficit. Vavel found a little bit of space. Got it up just shy of the 45, which is where Collaros and the Bombers offense will trot back out onto the field.
Well, turnovers a big story in this second half. Brady Oliveira, no doubt, looking for a little redemption after the Alouettes score. Corey Roberson Jr. with the strip, causing the Oliveira fumble.
It's been quite the afternoon to start a doubleheader here on TSN. Collaros wants it all down the field. Got it all, baby! How about that from Zach? Drops it into Wheatfall, and the Bombers back in business.
Absolute dime from Zach Collaros. Pressure's closing in, steps up, and just launches a rocket down the middle of the field to Wheatfall. Has a step on Ruffin, able to shield him from the ball there.
I'll hand it off to Oliveira. Didn't really go anywhere. He put everything into that one, didn't he?
He sure did, just as his legs are getting taken out on the tackle.
Davis Alexander's at 344 yards. Zach Collaros 3 shy of 300 on his own. Quite the display from these two quarterbacks this afternoon in Montreal. 2nd and 10 from the 12. Collaros under pressure, tosses it ahead. It was offensive lineman. Flags fly everywhere as he tucked it into Gabe Wallace.
Well, just throwing it to any white jersey trying to avoid the sack. Gabe Wallace, the left guard, 6'6", listed at about 340.
Held on to it.
Well, good reaction from the big fella. Almost like he was expecting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, never act surprised. I think even Mike O'Shea getting a kick out of that one.
Illegal forward pass. Winnipeg number 61. He's not an eligible receiver. Montreal will decline the penalty. It's going to be 3rd down. Le receveur 61 Winnipeg n'était pas éligible. La pénalité est refusée. 3e essai pour Winnipeg.
So they'll set up chip shot here for Castillo. They'll get 3 back. Be down by 6 with 7 to play.
We talked about the big extra point at the other end. And this field goal obviously massive, as you said, turning it back to a 1-possession game.
Steele not going to make a mistake from there. Montreal 39, Winnipeg 33 in the East semifinal. Well, the playoffs continue today with the Western semifinal. Stampeders will take on the Lions. Catch all the action, 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific on TSN. Should be a good game as well.
Yeah, we got a barn burner here.
Set the tone, aren't we?
Encore, absolutely. Great afternoon of football.
Montreal takes the ball back with a 6-point lead. Alexander flushed out of the pocket, tosses it ahead to Scott. Scott finds a first down just outside the 50. A little creativity there from Davis Alexander for 12 yards.
Yeah, nice bit of ad-lib. Stevie Scott stays alive on the play. Getting out there as an outlet as he's not needed in the protection.
Winnipeg's defense forcing a couple of turnovers earlier in the half. They'd love to find another one here. Alexander quickly to Philpott. Tackle made there by Jamal Parker. Got about 4 yards on the play.
A nice break to the football there by Parker to limit the gain.
Second and 6, ball just on Winnipeg's side of the field. Sneed, quiet today in the slot to his quarterback's right. Davis Alexander goes to Speaker, one-handed it, but was tracked down immediately by Dietrich Nichols. And that'll bring up 3rd down, and they'll have to kick it away.
Well, big stop there for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Defense, Cole Speaker. Nice adjustment to get down and snatch that one, pull it in with one hand. But yeah, just unfortunately unable to catch it in stride. So no yards after the catch to pick up that first down.
Vavel waits on his own 10 for this kick from Zima. 4.5 to play. Takes it just inside the 10. Trying to find some space, finds the 30. And that is where, a late flag here. Is that a late hit on Vavel after he was already down 40?
I suspect, and that'll be significant in terms of the field position boost for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Could be good placement on the punt.
Major foul, roughing. Montreal number 38 will go up 15 yards. It's going to be first down for Winnipeg. Rudess, Montréal 38, c'est la petite 15 verts. Premier essai Winnipeg.
Jeez. You see Jacob Mason came down with kind of a forearm on the helmet. In all honesty, I think that what he's trying to do is he's coming in there. Like it looks really late in slow motion, but I think he was thinking he was going to try and punch the ball out, getting in on the tackle. And Vavel ends up down before he gets there.
Well, after the return and the penalty, just a difference of 8 yards on the field position. Kolaris out to his right, on the run, has to get it away as he's taken down. Incomplete and out of bounds. 2nd and 10.
Yeah, big play from Jeffrey Cantin-Arcou. You're going to see number 9 appear. Bottom left corner of your screen. He comes late. Kolaris has receivers at different levels, and he's kind of looking for defenders to commit to one or the other so he can throw wherever they don't go. But the Alouettes did a pretty good job keeping it all covered up, resulting in the throwaway.
Just the 5th incompletion of the game for Kolaris. Alouettes send 4. Jack gets it away, and a great tackle. Wheatfall had the ball. Feet taken out from underneath of him by Beveretz.
Yeah, you can see Beverett closing on this one. Wheatfall just had time to get his head turned around before taking that shot.
Jamison Sheen, a deep one. Letcher takes it at the 10. Tried to spin away, but could not emerge from the pack of Bombers down the field.
And just when you talk about the swings of field position in terms of punts, punt returns, and the ensuing offensive possession, you know, pretty good punt and cover there for the Bombers on the heels of an opportunity to try to pin Winnipeg deep. Vavel gets a good return. They get the penalty as well that pushes them out close to midfield. Kind of a big swing in terms of field position here for the Bombers that could result, if they can get the 2 and out, in them having a short field here in their next possession.
Clock ticks under 3 minutes, fourth quarter. Drama-filled affair here between these two clubs. Alexander running around, gets it away. Scott one-hands it for a first down, takes it out beyond the 35. Running back to the rescue again. 18 yards to Stevie Scott, and they celebrate it again. A fabulous finish coming up in Montreal for the Vibe on the sideline. Let's send it back down to Shanetti.
Dusty, you were talking about swinging back and forth in terms of emotions. Ever since the Bombers erased that 19-point deficit, you could feel the energy going up on their side. And then as the Owls started to reassert themselves in the game, they too had the energy. But now, I've been in this situation before when things are this close, the margins are so thin, it's quiet down here now. A lot of focus as the Owls were going back to the line of scrimmage. Davis Alexander, Tyler Steed, and Tyson Philpott all spoke to each other and kept everything at a level. A lot coming, guys.
Intense final few moments here. 1st and 10. Alouettes on their own 36. Alexander quickly to Philpott. We've seen that a few times today. Gets up to about the 40.
And from a Montreal point of view, you think in this situation, a little bit of the run game and these high percentage passes that are really an extension of the run game, right? They're bread and butter in terms of a possession offense to slow things down a little bit. Get that clock running and limit the Bombers' opportunity.
10th catch of the game for Philpott. He's gone for 130. Big second down here. Bombers defense, can they find a way? They've got 3 on the line. Alexander takes off, up the middle, makes the move, he's got a first down and more. Midfield and a slide, and the crowd erupts in Montreal. Uses his legs to take it down inside the Winnipeg 50.
Keep an eye on middle linebacker. In this alignment, Kyrie Wilson has his eyes on Davis Alexander, but there's so much space there for him to cover. Great juke by the quarterback. Big time play from Davis Alexander here. A critical moment in his first career playoff start in the Canadian Football League.
11-0 to start his CFL career in the regular season. Trying to seal away a victory against the Bombers. They'll hand it off to Scott. A stiff arm, get out of his way. Down to the 30, takes it inside the 20, still going, and what a day for Stevie Scott. A backbreaker for the Bombers.
Well, minutes ago, I talked about the field position swing. The Bombers needing that 2 and out to try and create a short field, but how about the Montreal Alouettes? A couple of big plays, a run from Davis Alexander, and this monster from Stevie Scott down the sideline. Well, you see Kyrie Wilson just shaking his head after the escape from Alexander a couple plays ago.
39 yards for Stevie Scott, 125 on the day.
And the awareness to stay in bounds.
They'll give it back to him again. This time he's stuffed. He had one 100-yard game.
Timeout. Winnipeg. Timeout Winnipeg.
During the regular season, it was 125 yards. Exact same total he's got now. He's up to 126 after they give him a yard on that play.
And there it is. Bounces to the outside with the Bombers packing the box. But you see, very aware of kind of keeping himself away from that sideline to stay in bounds, which has been key. It allowed the Montreal Alouettes to milk probably an extra 20 seconds off the clock.
551 yards of offense for Montreal in this game. 4 trips to the red zone, 4 TDs. Back to Scott, breaks a tackle, and he stopped just inside the 5. That'll bring up 3rd down.
A little discussion over at the Alouette sideline. More in terms of the handling of the clock here than anything else.
And they will look for that field goal and a 9-point lead. Blue Bombers 5 straight trips to the Grey Cup. Hanging in the balance, that streak is here. Motos Diaz to seal this thing away. Hammers it home. Montreal 42, Winnipeg 33 with 32 seconds left in the East semifinal.
Davis Alexander firing up the crowd after that touchdown, after that field goal. But just a tremendous drive that could have been squashed out a couple of times, and particularly on the Alexander scramble. Jason Moss likes what he sees. You can see him calling to his quarterback at the end. Now, as for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, we've talked about all the situations in which they have found themselves in big games through the last 5 or 6 years. Not sure they've really been in a bind quite like this with half a minute to go.
Now, Mr. Perfect on the verge of doing it again. So we hammered away. He's done a great job containing this guy so far today. Vavel back to the 45 with 26 seconds on the clock.
Well, Zach Collaros, the veteran, has been front and center this great era for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Had a rough year, was injured. 306 yards and a touchdown today, 19 of 24. A splendid run with the Bombers as Collaros drops this off, misses Brady out in the flat. With 21 seconds left. Think we see Zach next year?
I think we do.
Yeah, I think we do too.
Certainly a guy that we all love watching do his thing. Fierce competitor.
Crowd to their feet at Percival Molson in Montreal. Collaros on the run, down the field, that'll do it, the final dagger into the hands of Darnell. Sankey takes it away, and Montreal has booked a ticket to Tiger Town next week. The Grey Cup will be in Winnipeg, but the Bombers won't be there.
Tremendous comeback put forth by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in the second half of this ball game. But the Montreal Alouettes proved to just be too much. Alouettes with some big plays here in the fourth quarter that the Bombers were just unable to match. You saw the tremendous respect there. Wesley Sutton going over to talk to Zach Collaros.
Jason Moss celebrates on that Alouette sideline. Last year's season came crumbling down here at home. Not the case this afternoon. A perfect 12-0 to start the career for that man, Davis Alexander. And the Alouettes end the Bombers' run of trips to the Grey Cup. 42-33, your final.
All day. Thank you. All day. Thank you.
33 points without Nick Dembski today, but the defense could not stop the Montreal Alouettes.
Well, and especially, defense came up with those big turnovers in the third quarter. But give a lot of credit to the Montreal Alouettes as well, as we've talked about what Winnipeg did in terms of a comeback in this ball game. Winnipeg roared back and took the lead. Let's not forget that Montreal is a team that has won a Grey Cup 2023, a number of champions on that roster. That this is a team that's been through some stuff, and they were able to fight through that adversity, regain the lead, and retake control of this game in the fourth quarter. Tremendous finish.
Let's send it down to Matt Shinetti with Davis Alexander. Davis, what have you learned about yourself now as a playoff competitor, given the fight the Winnipeg Blue Bombers put you through in that second half?
Man, it's our team, man. We've been through so much. Shoot, we were up 25-6. We give up, we go down 30-25 or whatever it was, or 27-25, and we just kept battling back, and this team's got so much heart, and we left a lot out there, so.
A lot of that heart comes from you. How much responsibility do you take on your shoulders knowing how much this team follows your lead now?
Nah, we're one heartbeat. I speak on it all the time. We're one heartbeat here. Quarterback's usually a natural leader, but it's one heartbeat in this locker room, and we feed off each other. They feed off me, I feed off them. Just a bunch of competitors.
Now you go to Hamilton to face Bo Levi Mitchell, Devin Verasuk, Reggie Stubblefield, and the East champions of the regular season. What kind of challenge is ahead?
Yeah, they're a great football team. Obviously, they won the East. They've been through a lot over there as well. So we're ready for the challenge. We're excited to go to the Hammer. It's going to be a great atmosphere, and we're excited.
See you in Hamilton.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Dusty.
Thank you, Matt. How can you not be excited for that matchup, Dwayne?
Well, this was fantastic playoff football put forth by both teams. The Montreal Alouettes ready to roll right from the start of this ball game, and in so many ways you got to think the first quarter of this game was ultimately the difference. That Montreal put some points on the board right out of the gate, ready to go. It took the Bombers really until just before halftime to kind of get going and to find their footing. And against a team like Montreal, your margin for error is so small.
A monumental run for the Bombers with 5 consecutive trips to the Grey Cup comes to an end. They didn't just hang around, they stormed back, took the lead, but Montreal was too much to handle in the end. 42-33, Montreal comes away on top. That'll do it for us here in Montreal. Let's send it back to Kate in the studio.
And what a game that ended up being, Dustin. Back alongside Enoch Mwamba, Davis Sanchez, Milt Stiegel, Paul Lapalisse standing by. By the way, I say the same thing that Davis Alexander said in that postgame. We're one heartbeat. I feed off the 3 of you each and every weekend. And I'll tell you this, when we have games like that, it is hard not to just enjoy yourself watching some CFL football. Milt, they erased a 19-point deficit, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, in that second half. They came out flying, and kudos to them, because that was a great effort. But in the end, it ends up being Davis Alexander with a heck of a performance. He had 384 yards. He continues his streak. He has yet to lose a start as a starting QB.
As you mentioned, kudos to Winnipeg. They came out in that second half, and they showed why they've gone to 5 straight Grey Cups. They came out, but then Davis Alexander said, okay, I got this. I got this. I haven't lost a game as a professional starting quarterback, and it's not going to happen today. And that's a special player right there. Let's give it to him. And I know we've only seen him start 12 games, but what have we seen so far out of this young man? It's been impressive. He's talked the talk, and he's walked the walk, and it seems like this team is following his lead, you know, and it's very rare you see a quarterback that young where he's the true leader of this team, where everyone understands that this is our guy, and as long as our guy is on the field, we have a chance of winning each and every time. And it's exciting to see him play. It's exciting to see what's going to happen next week against him and Bo Levi Mitchell and on Hamilton Tiger Cats, but I'm just excited that I'll get to watch these 2 teams play. I was a part of this game because it was a special game, especially that second half.
Yeah, he's a true leader. We saw that post-game interview with Matthew. You know, it's clear. You can see when there's some sense of disingenuousness to an interview. That's not the case at all. He deflected the credit. It was honest. And then also from a playing standpoint, he talked about they were down up 25-6. They lost down by 3, and he took over the game in big spots. He made big plays. You saw him buy time, that little flip pass, which was off schedule, big play. Again, making the first down with his leg. I felt like in the big moments, you thought that Davis would make a play to get them over the hump when they needed it, which was good to see in his first playoff start. The big moments, he came up with the big plays.
Even in the small sample size amount of games that we saw him play this season, I don't know about you guys, but it's almost like you see him continue to improve. And what was extremely impressive to see Davis Alexander today was just how composed he was and how much in control he was. There were small mistakes that were made, and he was calming guys down. And to be able to see a guy like that lead the way that he does, I mean, everybody wants to play for a guy and with a guy like that. So ultimately, you look at this defense for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and you say you cannot spot a team that's led by Davis Alexander that way in the first half. 25 points. It's just an uphill battle.
You know, when you look at Alexander too, I mean, we wanted to see how he would face adversity. Well, he did today, and he did it magnificently. Turn over to you now, Lapo. What did you take away from this one?
A couple things. Let's start. You know, Winnipeg scores 33 points. You would think the defense didn't play great, but I'll tell you what, the defense on second down was spectacular this game. Winnipeg only had 3 second down conversions. How many did Montreal have? 16. So they kept them off balance all game. Secondly, rushing the football. 176 yards for one team, 43 for another. Guys, I would have bet my mortgage the 176 was the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. But that was Montreal Alouettes. They stopped Montreal's defense stopped the run, and hats off to Montreal's offense for doing it. And my last point, Joseph Zeman, special teams, didn't look like much, but every time Trey Valvell got those returns, right on the sideline. They did a good job of minimizing one of Winnipeg's greatest strengths.
Yeah, they completely shut down Valvell in this game, and you know what? I don't know about you guys, but I just loved how good that second half ended up being. And I have high expectations for this next one. Montreal off to Hamilton for the East final, but who will be heading to Regina? We're going west next.